Hello and welcome everyone. This is Fuzzy with some more DCS content, and today I would like to get into the new features that have been added to the server since we launched a month ago. Before I get into the details, I would like to thank everyone that has played on, given feedback, and supported our server. So, to start out, our scoring system is where I think we stand out the most. Most flight sim servers very easily turn into what is called airquake, or essentially the only goal is dogfighting and everything becomes about a higher kill count. We have noticed through the years that this leads to unrealistic flight decisions by players. For example, no value is placed on the life of the pilot. Players would fight after a plane is on fire or try to get that extra kill instead of trying what they could to save the pilot. Besides this, the award metric for most servers is the player with the highest kills or the highest KD ratio is the one awarded. Our server aims to combat these woes with a different kind of scoring that pushes realistic decision making by the player as well as objective play. I'll start with the individual player. When you take off, the first thing you'll notice in the top right corner is your takeoff ticket, minus 10 points. Don't worry though, if you bring the plane back to base, any base that you can spawn at, you will receive those points back, plus a couple extra for your troubles. However, lost airframes and dead pilots will net you even more negative points. A single kill won't even come close to offsetting those negative points. The two examples I like to give when explaining this to people are, number one, you take off, you do a patrol, you come home without seeing any action. Typically that would be just 0 points for everything. So for this example, you would have minus 10 points for your airframe ticket, and then when you return your airframe, you get 12 back. So you just get 2 points for surviving. Or option number two, you take off, you do the same patrol, but this time you get in a dogfight. And you have an opportunity to escape after you take a couple shots, but you try to go for the kill instead. Unfortunately, you end up dying here, and so the end of your sortie score, you'll have your minus 10 for your takeoff ticket. You'll lose 10 points for a lost or destroyed airframe, and you'll also lose an additional 10 points for a dead pilot. So instead of having plus 2 points when you could have just returned home, you now have negative 30. Not to mention, if you did hit that plane a couple times and you went home but didn't get the kill, you are still receiving points each time you hit an enemy. So value your life over your kills and you will do well on the server. Another feature we have added since launch is our bomber missions. The Allied team has 2 waves of bombers. They are B-17s, and they come over throughout the mission to attack the rear depot. Over the 4-hour mission, 1 bomber wave will spawn at random during the first 2 hours, and another wave will spawn during the second 2 hours. Their survival or destruction of the B-17s play a large role in the mission results. I don't measure their success based off of what they hit, but I measure their success based off of how many make it home. There are a total of 15 bombers per wave, and each bomber that makes it back home, the Allies receive 10 points. Now on the flip side, for each bomber that does not make it home, the Axis team receives 20. So you can quickly see with a possible of 300 points versus 150 points, the Axis team is heavily encouraged to destroy these. If the Axis team destroys both waves entirely, that is 600 points, and based off of the scoring I have set up now, that is basically impossible to overcome. So if you are the Axis players, focus on those bombers. If you are the Allied players, protect those bombers. It will be crucial to mission victory. In the future, Allied players will be rewarded for just being with the bombers. I know it can be really annoying to escort bombers for an hour and not see anybody at all, and it sucks to be penalized for that because you actually were doing what you were supposed to. So in our future missions, Allies will be receiving points for time around the bombers. So if you're within a given range and you're escorting the bombers, you will receive so many points for so much time. So even if you don't come into any fights, you will still receive points, which really encourages players to protect those bombers. Another metric used for victory conditions is attrition. When a pilot is lost, the team is given 5 attrition points. When an airframe is lost, they are given 1 attrition points. At the end of a mission, the attrition of both teams will be compared, and the team with the higher attrition will be penalized. Remember, attrition is bad, you want low attrition. It is measuring your losses. The team with the lower attrition will have the difference of that score applied as a reward. So, for example, if Team A has an attrition of 60 points and Team B has an attrition of 40, Team B will be rewarded with 20 points on their team score at the end. The overall points attributed to the air war is relatively small compared to other objectives. Another new feature that we have added is the Airfield supply system. The frontline airfields from both sides can be shut down through offensive means. You can find the destructible airfields by referencing your F10 map, and you'll see them marked with a blue or red oval that has a white outline. And of course, the colors are dependent on what team they are for. What you want to hit at the airfields are going to be oil tanks that look like this. Make sure it does not look like the plain static map tanks, which are at a couple of the fields, but you'll want to make sure that it has this ladder going on the side here. This is the correct tanks that you want to destroy at airfields. These tanks can be destroyed with any armament, so if you come in with just guns, you can wreck those. But beware that every airfield has a lot of ground fire, so you do not want to spend very much time around any of the airfields. I highly recommend a single pass and get out. Currently, the destruction of an allied field will call for a resupply of C-47s. They fly from England to that affected base at low altitude. If they make it, they do resupply that base. If they do not make it, that base will be shut down for the rest of the mission. In future missions, players themselves can fly in a single disarmed plane to bring in multiple airframes. Depot targets have now been reworked. They were previously just a set of 9 barracks that I was using as a placeholder to test other triggers. They now represent an industry and a troop camp. The complete destruction of a depot target will heavily affect the flow of troops and will reward your team with a large chunk of points. If both sides destroy the same depot, the points will be neutralized, meaning if both sides take out each other's front depots, no points are awarded. It is neutralized. The front depot is worth 100 points when killed. The rear depot is worth 150 points. When the front depot is destroyed, the troops will stop flowing from that base for 2 hours. This will heavily impact the resources available at the front line and can make or break the victory at the front line. When the rear depot is destroyed, there will be no resources sent for the remaining of the mission. And this brings me to the frontline battle. At the beginning of a battle, each frontline base will start out roughly equal in troop strength. Throughout the battle, troops will die and new supplies will show up. The amount of new supplies being delivered will depend on how disrupted the supply line is. And at the end of a mission, the side with the largest supply will be awarded 250 points. And this is again measured by the frontline base. And even if a side only has a single troop advantage at the end of the mission, they will be rewarded that entire 250 points. So it is very important to pay attention to the frontline battle. I have also noticed if the German tanks get established at the front line, they will grind the Allied troops down to nothing. The German army will have a lot less tanks overall, but the ones they do have are very superior to the Allied ones in DCS. If the Allied players fail to destroy these German tanks, the chances the Allies win the front line is very, very slim. However, if you destroy the limited amount of tanks they do have, the Allies will steamroll them. So, armor is key at the front line. With all this fancy scoring, we've added a way for you to check it all out. In your radio menu, you can click F10 to view other, and that will show you everything that we have set up for these missions currently. From here, you can press F1 to check the status of the troops. Clicking this will display the troops at every base, but currently the ones you want to pay attention to are the ones at the front line. The ones at the front line will be the ones to determine the victor of the frontline points. You want that to be higher. In future campaigns, the troops at the rear bases will be relevant, but currently, within the scope of a 4-hour mission, they are irrelevant. In future missions, when we have moving front lines, the destruction of depots will take out a large chunk of the troops available at that base. So through many missions, you can really grind down the enemy's troop numbers by destroying their camps over and over again. One thing that I would really like to point out about our server is we do not have any kill stealing. If you and a buddy both shoot an airplane and that airplane goes down, you both receive full credit for the kill. This goes for factories, buildings, vehicles, planes, anything at all. If you guys contribute to the score together, you both get the full score. I am very excited with where the server is heading. I am almost done with what I would consider the base code for our missions. After this is finished up, I will be immediately starting on implementing this into a dynamic moving frontline. Even after this list of features is done, I will continue to add new features. This is a very fun project for me, and I have a blast gamifying this beautiful game of DCS. I have always loved flight sims, but I have always been left wanting when it comes to the game modes. IL-2 did feature some pretty good game modes, but unfortunately their base game itself was just not enough to keep me interested. I am very excited to continue growing the World War II community and seeing what else we can do with these missions. I have also been asked a couple times if we are taking donations or any kind of financial support. I would like to announce that I did start a Patreon for those of you that are wishing to support it. If you guys are wanting to support the server or my YouTube channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/fuzzymanpeach. In the meantime, here is a sortie 4 of us flew on. This would be myself, Toxin flying as my wingman, and then our second element consisting of Buckley and D. Watts.
Oh, copy. I got a tally on you guys. Bacon left. Something diving in. Break. Something diving in on you guys. Oh wait, he stopped short, but yep.
I think it was a Dora. It had a pretty long
It's
nose.
climbing. He's to my 12. He is cruising.
He's coming over the top of his loop up there. Coming down.
He's down sharp.
Brake. Yep. Time to brake. I'm braking left. I'm dropping these bombs.
Oh, he's over me.
Alley. He's off.
Man, there's a lot of traffic.
Me, I'm off. Ditching these bombs.
He's inverted. He just rolled out of it.
Watch out, somebody's diving to the right. I'm right below you. Woo! I'm to somebody at treetops. 3.
It's me. Ellie. Through. Man, he's really latched on me here.
He went down trees and came back up. Looks like he's diving for the trees. I'm gonna split you two. Gonna reverse my turn and go with the flow.
Got a tinkle on his rudder.
Still in the right turn. Oh yeah, there he is. Took damage.
I don't have eyes on you at the moment, Fuzzy.
Oh, shit.
Are you
Alright.
on him?
I toxined.
Some on his wing there.
I did stall it just enough to start recovering into a tree.
Alright. Check the
Copy
temps,
that.
everybody.
Yep. 3 good.
I've got
Copy. Rockets. Copy that. I just pulled up behind somebody.
He's in.
Copy that.
My airspeed's 240. Climbing a little bit. Tally. Buckley, I'm going to come left and follow him.
Copy that. Falling in. Roger. Set shields to forward. Nice shots.
2 of them went into the trees before the warehouse, though.
Oh, I can see them in the sun glare. Copy that. I've got a full load. I saved them since the factory went down.
I'm out.
Yeah. Oh, I see you now.
Yep. Flax up everywhere. I'm seeing the fight going on.
Can you tell how that dogfight's going there, D-Wads?
Negative. I just see a bunch of flak and a couple planes circling. I got 4 planes above Cardinville.
Alright, I'm gonna head towards Cardinville because I'm out of rockets.
Oh, I see targets.
They're all unfriendly. No, at the ground targets that are shooting at me. D-Watts, do you know what the scoop is over there?
Negative. I just got airborne. I'm heading towards them now.
Holy crud.
B51/1/190.
I'm right below you, Fuzz. Or I think that was you going above me.
Roger that.
I'm bingo ammo, so on rockets that is. Carterville, okay, guys?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any ACAC anymore.
Oh my gosh, it's like a freaking. They laced me up pretty good. RTV.